Hello, Bounty and Soul community. It's me, Lyric. I'm here on this beautiful Saturday to talk about connection and belonging. These are aspects of our mental and emotional health, and they can be kind of tricky to talk about because it's hard to define what connection or belonging is, right? It's intangible. It means different things for different people, and it feels different ways for different people. For the sake of this video, we'll be talking about connection through the definition that Brené Brown has shared, and I'll link some of her work in the description of this video. She defines connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. So we'll hold on to that definition and think about how that feels for you and how that relates to how you understand and feel connection in your life. But I think we can all agree that disconnection doesn't feel good. Disconnection from ourselves, from others around us, or from the earth, it can lead to feelings of anxiety or depression, loneliness, feelings of hopelessness, and just a lack of joy around existing as a human. Because humans need connection. We're social creatures, and we're meant to have a relationship with the earth and with place. History tells us that humans have lived in groups for as long as we have existed as a species, and the only reason we still exist is because of community and cooperation. And modern studies continue to show that people who feel they have community and connection in their life have lower levels of those emotions I was describing, of anxiety or depression, and even lower rates of inflammation or chronic disease in the body. Just another example of how mental and emotional health is intrinsically tied to the health of your body. So I'm going to share just a couple ways that you can explore connection in your life and work to cultivate a sense of belonging for yourself. And I just want to preface all of this with it's not easy in our modern world to feel connected to each other. We are fragmented. You know, your loved ones may live all the way across the country. There's a lot going on in a virtual space, right? And that removes all the layers of face-to-face interaction that we've experienced for so many thousands of years. And there's all sorts of social and societal pressures put upon us. So know that it's not your fault if feeling connected is not easy, and know that we're in a global pandemic, which of course adds many layers of complexity to the safety in which we're able to connect with others. So if you're feeling disconnected or lonely or not quite sure how to connect with others, I just want to offer a moment to pause and know that that's totally valid. It is a wild world that we're all navigating together, and you're not alone. And before I share some of these ideas, I'd love if we were able to take a moment to just sit, and if you're able to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you, maybe put your hand over your heart if that feels comfortable for you, and reflect on a time that you did feel connected. It could have just been a single moment or a period of your life or an event or a relationship where you really felt like you belonged, where you felt loved and nourished and seen and heard. And just sit with that memory and think about how that felt and what in that moment or in that time brought about those feelings for you. Okay, so hold on to those feelings of connection and belonging, and let's talk about some ways we can cultivate connection in our life. So number one is practicing self-compassion. So this is about connecting with yourself. It doesn't have to do with anybody else, but practicing self-love and validating your self-worth can make it easier to show up with authenticity when you are interacting with other people. So I'll put a link in the description of this video with some resources, some free meditations and activities by Kristen Neff that take you through different days as you develop a self-compassion practice. Tip number 2 is less screen time. So everything is virtual right now. I'm doing a video about connection, and there's some validity to that, of course. technology allows us to connect with people who live all over the world, but at the same time, excessive exposure to screen time and social media can actually remove us from the present moment, and that can make it difficult to connect with people in person. It's also very stimulating for your mind and body to be looking through so much information on social media and on the internet all the time, and so that can kind of keep us in a heightened state, and that can lead to feelings of anxiety or restlessness, or just not feeling settled in a place or in your life. So maybe if you have someone you want to connect with that doesn't live near you, you could try writing a letter or having a phone call. My third tip is to initiate in spending time with people. I struggle with this one a lot. Sometimes I just forget to reach out to people, or I forget to, send a message back. But if you feel like you need connection and you need time with someone, you don't necessarily have to wait until they reach out to you, because your needs might be different and you want to be able to voice your needs in those relationships. The next thing you can try is practicing forgiveness. Human relationships probably won't last that long unless you're able to forgive mistakes that happen, obviously with time to process and with clear communication all along the way, but allowing yourself to feel forgiveness is a very calming experience, and even if you don't continue the relationship with that specific person that you're forgiving, it can open you up to connecting again with other people. The next practice you can try is making eye contact with people. This can be just people you pass on the street, or when you're speaking to people, even people you don't know, just the cashier at the grocery store. Looking people in the eye can really foster a sense of humanity, of recognizing other people's humanness and aliveness. And this is one that can definitely be uncomfortable at first if you're not used to that. So, go slow, take it slow, try it just a little bit here and there, and see how it feels, and see if you can increase the amount you're able to practice that. The next one is to enjoy time with non-human beings, because really we're connected to the earth. We're animals, we are a part of the ecosystem and of all of the cycles of existence, and society has done a lot of work to remove ourselves from non-human systems. But it's really easy to reclaim connection to non-humans, and it actually can increase feelings of connection to humans. So you could go outside if you have a yard or a park nearby and just spend time with a specific plant, and maybe you're able to visit that plant a day a week, or visit it once throughout each season, and see how the plant changes, and notice how the plant is interacting with other species around. Notice how it smells, or how it feels, or how you're able to recognize that plant. You can try to describe it like you would maybe describe a friend. Your friend has brown hair and blue eyes, and the plant has light yellow flowers and a dark stem. And this is a way to begin to relate to non-human beings, and to recognize how many different types of life there are in this world, how many different ways there are to experience life, and that in itself can help you feel really connected to all of the universe. And it doesn't have to be a plant. You could observe animals that live near you, like squirrels. They're so cool, and they're always doing cool stuff all the time. Anytime you look at a squirrel, it's just absolutely fascinating. You can learn you can learn so much from squirrels, and likewise birds. These are the two most adapted to our urban environment types of animals that we have in our region that are so easily noticeable. You can notice birds, you can hear birds and see birds, and start to relate to birds as neighbors and friends. And it's also well studied, as you enjoy time with these animals or plants, that spending time outside can lower blood pressure, can help to calm our nervous system, and just increase feelings of hopefulness and well-being. Okay, my last tip is to volunteer. You could volunteer in an organization like Bounty and Soul, or whatever calls you. If you have something you're really passionate about and you're able to find an organization that's working on that, you're likely to find other people that are similarly passionate to you, or maybe share some views. And then you have a space where you can connect with them. And even if not, if it's not as social of a volunteer experience, you're still getting out in the world and contributing to a greater sense of purpose, which can help us feel connected to one another. So that's what I have to share today about connection. I would love to connect more with you about this. If you have other questions, this is a really, really big topic to smush into a video. It can feel exhausting. So I invite you to take a deep breath and know you're not alone, and know that there's resources. Like I said, I'll link some in the description of this video, and Bounty and Soul is here to support you, and I'll see you soon.